Well, I think social media isn't necessarily good or bad. In a way, social media amplifies existing behaviour. So, socialising is a very normal human activity to kind of take part in, and social media just kind of enhances that process. So, to say someone is addicted to social media, in some ways it's almost like saying they're addicted to breathing or addicted to water. It's like a normal human function that people kind of have to engage in. It is possible that it enhances things a bit too much, so people might spend more time socialising through social media than is really necessary, and if that's happening, it might have an impact because it stops them from engaging in other things that they should be doing. Well, I think people tend to repress quite a lot of their behaviour anyway, because we are all kind of individually motivated. We want to do well in our own lives. But we're also social creatures, so we live in groups. Even the most kind of independent person still needs to interact with others on a fairly regular basis to survive. And to make sure that we stay in the group, we have to at least present ourselves as being reasonably social and taking part in things that we don't really want to do. Things like paying taxes. Nobody really wants to pay taxes, but you kind of have to be able to be accepted as part of society. So because we have to kind of constantly repress things we might want to say, we might want to do, that we know would have kind of negative social consequences for us, if we believe we're in an environment where we are anonymous, or where we think there are millions of people who are going to be using the same platform, like Twitter or Facebook, if we think there's a chance we can kind of say what we want to say without having that negative social consequence, then that can be very tempting. And it could be why people start trolling, because if they believe that no one's ever really going to find out who they are, or even if they're using a social media account which is under their own name, they might think, well, there's so many millions of people contacting this celebrity, even if I am unpleasant to them, no one's ever really going to care because I'm just one person. And that could be why people tend to behave in a more kind of unpleasant way online sometimes. I think, celebrities will tend to get a much higher volume of these things. Quite often, they might not themselves actually manage their own social media account, they might have someone doing it for them. So in some ways, they're kind of protected, perhaps. And some of it, although I know in some cases with celebrities, it can get very upsetting for them. But they also kind of have more power, so they can, if someone is being very unpleasant to them, they can challenge that person, they can retweet what that person has said to their followers, then their followers will tend to be quite, negative towards that initial person being trolled. So in some ways they're more exposed, but they do have more ability to kind of fight back. If someone isn't a celebrity, if they haven't got thousands of followers of their own, then I think it can be more difficult for them. They're not necessarily going to have as much support as someone who's more famous might do. Well, that's quite an interesting example. There was a lady who had been trolling Madeline McCann's parents, and she was kind of identified through a Sky News investigation. So the Sky reporter actually kind of confronted her, I think it was outside of her house, and kind of asked her why she was doing this. There was a kind of middle-aged lady who seemed quite quite respected, quite kind of educated. Wouldn't have someone you would imagine would be saying the kind of things on Twitter that she was saying to the McCann family. So she was confronted by Sky News, and then I think the following day she'd gone to a hotel and actually committed suicide. And it kind of prompted a discussion around if someone is being a troll, should you really challenge them? Should you kind of really do that? There have, of course, been suicides, people who have been targeted by trolls, especially in relation to things like cyberbullying. Sometimes it's difficult to kind of know where the line is between cyberbullying and trolling, because obviously we share a lot of the same characteristics. In the past, if you had a falling out with someone at school, say 20 years ago, you might have an argument. You might phone them if you really wanted to later on, but in general you wouldn't see them again until the following day. And by that point, you might have calmed down, you might have kind of changed your mind. Nowadays, if you get in a fight with someone, again, if you're kind of a younger person, you can just keep that fight going 24/7 using social media, and that's when things like cyberbullying and trolling might start to escalate. So it's this idea that the internet doesn't really perhaps fundamentally change how we communicate. It might just enhance things. It makes everything much quicker and much more exaggerated. I think it's probably the closeness of a relationship. So cyberbullying, when people tend to use that phrase in research, it tends to mean that people involved know each other offline. Right? Trolling tends to be someone who's a stranger, who's either anonymous or hiding behind a fake name, or at least a name which is kind of, the Twitter handle might be kind of something quite different from their actual name. But it's that existence of an existing offline relationship that's kind of the main thing.